It is the On the Mic podcast. I'm your host, Mike Pendleton, and man of his word. A lot of people, I mean, they always say people's main event. Every fight card, they always look for a people's main event. But there's so much more chatter and excitement about this upcoming fight next weekend. He is Adrian Yanez taking on Randy Costa this upcoming weekend. UFC Vegas, I believe 32. I can't keep track anymore. Adrian, last time we spoke, you said you'd be back before your fight, and you are here, man of your word. How are you?
Man, I'm pretty good, man. I'm blessed. I'm ready. I'm ready to fight, man. I'm ready to be in Vegas and ready to go fight.
Yeah, and I think the world, the MMA world, and the UFC fans particularly, are so excited for this fight. I was just first and foremost like when we talked, and then like this whole thing with you and Randy like took off, and it happened, and it was so exciting. I know you said you want to fight in Houston. Bummed for you on a personal note that it's not happening there. We talk about that, but how different is it to have this like kind of back and forth with Randy, and it's Dr. Pepper versus Reese's, and it's we're gonna bring a war. How different is this for you?
Man, honestly, it's not that different for me because I'd never go into a fight kind of like emotionally like mad or like any type of like artificial feelings that you have to make up for yourself, man. It's me in the moment, and it's just me knowing that I'm gonna go in there and fight against the guy who's trying to put my lights out, either take a arm, take a leg, take a neck, take something, man. So it there's like no difference, but it is pretty cool to have like someone who's been very cordial and very obliging with just kind of like, how can I say it, with being respectful, and all that stuff, because people can talk mess all they want, but uh it's way cooler to fight someone who you're cool with than somebody who you're not. It's always fun. It's always more of a barn burner fight whenever you got that equal respect. At least every single time. Like the only fight that ever lived up to the bad blood was Kamaru Usman versus Kobe Covington.
You're absolutely right. I mean, let's look at UFC 264. I think some people knew like Conor McGregor had to turn back into the old Conor and go so far. But even at this point, win or loss, I still think people were saying, all right, maybe this is a little too much. Like this isn't the witty Conor. This isn't the Conor with good one-liners. Like this is a guy who I felt, and I think a lot of people felt like he needed to get back into that mindset. He had to do it not for Dustin. He had to do it for himself. And when you see that, and obviously we all saw what happened to Conor, and he'll probably be out for a while now. I think about a year, Dana White said. But Khabib said good always beats evil. And when you see that, and you see kind of how this fight is building up for you, isn't it a better thing for the sport? Kind of like what you just hit on, man. Like it's just so much better to have two guys willing to engage in a war but respect each other at the same time.
Oh, to me, I feel like that's absolute. Like, it's better for the sport, but also what's also better for entertainment, because at the end of the day, we are entertainers, and we do have to go out there and entertain. Sometimes you had to bring a little bit of the theatrics to bring more eyes, and that's what Connor did. That's what Connor did for the most of the time, and for a lot of the time, he was able to back it up with his fights. But these past couple fights, he just hasn't been able to do that, and it's kind of been of a detriment. But what me and Randy are doing, man, at least MMA Twitter and MMA fans, like hardcores, really want this fight. And honestly, I've been in love with seeing like the responses that we've been getting, and man, it's been great. It's been phenomenal, and I love it. Like I can't get enough of it because, man, two guys who are like two or three fights into the UFC career, and we're creating that much buzz, and it's great. It's really really great because like we're technically, we're kind of nobodies, but we're in there, and we're using each other to be somebodies, in a good positive light, not negative, and that's pretty cool to me.
Yeah, no, and I think you hit it right on the head, man, because there's a lot of people 2 or 3 fights into their career who hope 100 fans want to see them fight. And you've got an entire online community waiting for this fight. You got people running to the store to buy Reese's. You got some people running to buy Dr. Pepper. It's amazing, man. I honestly love it. And it's so happy for you because, and I love what you said, you're not nobodies, but so many fighters go their entire career just hoping for one fight of theirs to be getting this much attention. And, last time we talked, you said you wanted to fight in Houston. Obviously would have made a lot of sense for you. And I know you had cause for that, but man, in a way, and we see like the, what UFC 265 is, it is a stacked card. Every fighter wants to be a part of a stacked card. But with the fanfare you're getting, with all the attention from the online world, isn't it a little nicer to be on this card? Because your card is a banger of a card for a fight night.
Oh yeah.
And everyone's talking about your fight.
Oh yeah. Like I haven't really I don't know if my timeline is just very jaded with like a whole bunch of Randy and Yanez talk. Like I don't know if it's just jaded because like there's just so much of it that I had on my timeline and on all my things. I haven't really seen much of the main event. Like I haven't really seen too much of that. But like again, like no shade, but like it might just be because my timeline's super jaded. It's like super Randy fans or super Adrian fans, and like I love seeing that. I love going on Twitter, going on Instagram, going on Facebook, and actually just seeing all that because man, like from what I see, we're overrunning the main event, but at the same time, like I'm just like, well, it's from my point of view, it's from like my stuff. So I don't know if overall we're getting the most attention, but honestly, with the amount of social media and the amount of presence that I felt that we've gotten, I believe we deserve a main card slot, but we didn't get. I don't think we got it, but I was hoping for it. But things can change.
Things can't change, and I know it's very early on in your UFC career, so I'm sure plenty of opportunities headed your way. You know me, I don't like to be like a casual MMA media guy. I get so nervous that I'm always asking the casual questions, but I do have to ask. I'm not going to ask, oh, how was training camp? How's this? How's that? But what challenge does Randy present to you? I mean, we could talk about how much fun it is, the back and forth and how many people want to see this fight, but what challenge does he present to you inside the octagon?
Man, he poses a lot of challenges. Actually, I know he has power. He has the momentum to put anybody in the division to sleep. He's done it twice already. So against two tough opponents. So I know I got to look at that and take that into account. And then also he's very diverse. He's a guy that does it all. He punches, he elbows, he knees, and he kicks. I don't know too much about his wrestling, so that's a little bit unknown. So that will have to be something we have to look out for as well. So if he has any, so you got to kind of have to, adjust on the fly on the wrestling. But when it comes to the stand up, he's very diverse. He's very powerful. He's very explosive, and I had to take all that into account. But I know the way I fight, and I feel like it matches up very well with his style.
Well, you guys have both put people away, early on in your UFC careers, and you're coming in now, and officially your UFC, career. You have 2 finishes, and outside of what what challenges Randy presents, what does this fight against Randy mean for you moving forward? Now, I'm not trying to ask you to look far ahead, but what does a win against Randy do for you moving forward?
Man, it should put me in the top 25. It should put me in the top 25. But like I honestly, I kind of had to take a little bit of a step back and see. Like I think this fight does more for him if he wins than it does for me, because I like to look at things objectively and realistically and everything, because we both have the power to put each other away. And I look at that and it's like, this fight for me, it looks back and you're like, well, he's 6-1. He's 6-1. What in the grand scheme of things, what does that do for me? If he was like 9-1, 10-1, 11-1, I think that would do a lot more, and that would for sure put me in the top 25. But I'm just hoping like whenever I knock him out, that it puts me in the top 25, which I believe it should, especially if I put a definitive stop, that I should be in the top 25, because my debut was a knockout. My sophomore showing was a knockout, and then also my junior showing. If I go in there and I knock him out, I think my senior look, it should automatically be in the top 25.
Yeah, and I love that. I think, all respect to you, I think a lot of people would just automatically say top 15. They want a number next to their name. And I think one of the reasons why I pushed to talk to you again before your fight is because I think you more than a lot of fighters have a clear vision and understanding of how your career should go. And you don't want to jump, 10 spots ahead before, you even get in there. So I give you all the credit and respect for doing that and looking at your career the way you do. But what should, if fight fans tuning in, if they're not caught up on both of you guys, what should they should be caught up,
man.
but you know how the MMA world is, man.
Oh yeah, man. It's two guys that are gonna go in there and try to knock each other out, knock each other senseless, like strip away the technique, strip away everything. At the end of the day, it's two guys going in there trying to put each other's lights out. And that's the way we both fight. And and if you start adding stuff together, that's whenever you start being able to choose who you think is going to win. And every time I put it together, man, I come out on top. Much respect to Randy. Great guy, great person. But looking at who he's fought and who I fought, and looking to see like the finishes and how I finished, and looking to see who's been through a little bit more, I feel like I have been through a lot more and a lot more adversity. So I know I can go in those deep waters. I don't know if Randy can, and that's why I plan on putting him on Saturday. I'm planning on putting him in deep waters and trying to see if he can sink or swim. And by the end of that, hopefully it'll be a fight of the night, so we get extra paid.
I'm going to ask you about that extra pay in a second, but I got to ask you this. When you talk about two guys who can finish each other, you've talked about that. You talked about it being a war. You obviously want a fight of the night. You want those bonus checks. You want all that. But how do you as a fighter prepare for a war? I know every fight's a war, but when you know that both you and your opponent can just clean each other out at any given moment, what goes through your mind, not even just when you're in the cage, but as you're leading up to the fight?
Man, you just have to mentally prepare yourself to put yourself in a dark place. You know that there's going to be points and times where you're going to have to bite down and go for it, because you can't give an inch. You can't give an inch because Randy takes a mile. And that's the same way I am. Like you take a step back, I'm taking 2 steps forward. And that's the way I like to fight, and that's the way I will fight on Saturday. And man, you also have to build up your cardio. You got to be able to throw 500 punches within the first round. Like you have to be able to put up a big pace, especially if you know that you're about to head into a war. You want no stone left unturned, because if you do, the consequences can be dire. You go in for a war and you automatically get tired in that first round. That second round, if he keeps up that pace, you're looking on the way to a loss. So that's the furthest thing I want to stay away from. I am not going to lose. I know on my end, I'm gonna go in there and give it my all and get that win. Because man, like I've trained so hard and I put myself in that dark place almost every single day. The days that I didn't are on Fridays, and those I get to look forward to the weekend, and I get to have fun and use a little bit more technique whenever we're running a drill. So Fridays are my best days, but Monday through Thursday, I'm in that dark place the whole entire time. And then on the weekend, man, it's like nothing but love, because all my dark energy was all throughout the week. So that's usually how it goes.
I absolutely love that answer. It might be my favorite answer of this entire year, and maybe in the history since I've been doing this show. So thank you for that. But, you're a man who obviously is up for a lot of bonuses anytime you fight. I got to ask, we saw Chris Mutino against Sean O'Malley call his $75,000 bonus life-changing. And I know Dana said they wouldn't be doing $75K all the time and it'll mess up the budget. Unsure of that. I'm not here to call Dana out. But, man, when you have the ability and skill set that you have, I think sometimes Dana, back in the day, they would do the locker room bonuses. But I think now that they're kind of throwing these $75K out there every once in a while, do you think you and Randy could put on a show that would earn $75K?
Oh, absolutely, man. I would say even more. I think we would be the first people to throw up $100K. So like I know for a fact, if Randy can take my shots and he can take them well, we are going 3 rounds of like heavy war. That is the only X factor that I have yet to see. And if he can take my punches, and if he can, then we're in for a long night of like swinging and banging, H-Town slanging, you know. So to me, man, I am looking forward to it, and we would probably put up 100K each, man. 75K would be amazing too. Don't get me wrong, man, but I think we'd we'd put on 100K bonus type of performance, man. So like I know, I feel it in my heart that it's gonna be a special night.
I absolutely cannot wait to see it. Now, here's where the hard-hitting journalism comes in. Moving forward after this fight, will you ever eat Reese's while drinking Dr. Pepper?
Man, it's a big possibility. You can always try some things that you didn't like before that are terrible and bland. But honestly, you know what? I may just end up making my own, because I actually told Randy myself that I was like, you know what? You love it so much, man. We can go in business together and do our own. Like, get some better chocolate, get better quality chocolate, get some better quality peanut butter, and we can probably make some really good money, man. But I don't know. We gotta see how it is after he takes this loss. So he owe me a month's supply of Dr. Pepper. So I want to see if he's salty after
This
that.
is this is absolutely amazing. It's better than Conor and Dustin exchanging hot sauce and Proper 12 a year ago on Fight, or earlier this year on Fight Island. That is absolutely incredible, man. Adrian, I can't wait to see this fight. But we've talked about Houston a little bit. We talked about it a lot last time you and I spoke. What is kind of the thought process for you later in 2021? Would you still like to hammer down a fight in Houston?
Man, honestly, it's one of those that once I wasn't on UFC 262, man, that took a lot of wind out of my sails, man. It honestly it hurt. If I'm being 100% honest, like that did hurt. I was like legitimately like kind of in a weird spot for a second, because I was like, man, man, it like I thought I set everything else up perfectly, and then to even have the opponent arise and want to do it too, and just the way it kind of fell off and didn't happen, like that sucked. It really did suck, man, because I was like, that was perfect. I remember being there that night. At first, I wasn't able to really enjoy the fights, even though every fight on that card was ridiculous. Like, whenever I first got there and sat down, I was there with my girl, and I was just sitting there. I was like, man, looking up at every. I was looking up in the stands, just looking everywhere, and just seeing it be filled. And I just remember just looking, just like, man, I want this. Like, I want this. And the fact that it didn't happen, man, it took a lot of wind out my sails, and I was just like, man, this sucks. But then I found out they're coming back, and I was like, well, you know what? Bad timing, because I fight 2 weeks before that, but I'll get to be there again. I'll get to be at the UFC 262, 265, hopefully live. I'm hoping I can get it. Uh, but man, I saw that they did a contract with the Toyota Center, so hopefully, man, hopefully, and I'm hoping I'd be able to get on that on a really great card. You know, hopefully, Derek Lewis knocks out Cyril Gahn, and then after that, Francis does whatever he needs to do, and then the Toyota Center again, Derek Lewis versus Francis Ngannou to unify the heavyweight title, and I'll be able to be on the undercard, because I think that would actually be even way better. Uh, it would be way better, just because, like, man, the hometown guy, the heavyweight, and then me, I get to be on the undercard. It would be really great. I just need Derek Lewis to knock out Cyril Gahn.
It's all on you, Black Beast. You got to bring it home. I got to say, I'm going to tell everyone real quick, like, you're clearly locked in. Like, I don't know if you follow all Houston sports, but here in Chicago, we're kind of hating on the Astros right now because you guys have been beating up on the White Sox. I believe the White Sox are 2 of 3. And literally right when you joined the Zoom, I was like, oh, shit, I have a White Sox hat on today. I was like, he's going to come at me. I was like, but no, he hasn't said a word, so
Yeah.
he's clearly locked in on the fight. But no, man,
Oh yeah.
a lot of great things brewing in Houston. Obviously, like you said, you got the interim title fight. I think you laid out a perfect future plan. If things go Derek Lewis's way, I would love to see that fight in Houston. I'd love to see you fight in Houston. I think anytime you and I talk moving forward, it's going to be something I always ask you about, because I think the more we can talk about it, the more we can raise eyes and attention to it. You need to fight in Houston. Yes,
Oh
Derek
yeah.
Lewis could be a you know, he can be the headliner, he could be the spotlight, but there's a lot of Adrian Yanez fans out there, man, and you deserve to fight in your hometown.
Oh man, absolutely. I feel like that's a given, man. Like I went around UFC 262 and I was walking around. Uh, I was just walking around because I couldn't find the will call ticket place. I was ended up walking around and everybody was stopping to take pictures with me, and the amount of people that stopped to take pictures with me, man, like I couldn't keep count. Like I lost count like a lot, and I honestly was like just amazed with how many people were coming up to me. So that like me at home, me even just going to the UFC 262 and seeing the amount of people that were wanting to take pictures with me, I thought that was amazing and that was a blessing. And it just kind of made me realize a little bit more that I'm a little bit bigger in Houston than what I thought I am, but you know, I'm still not thinking I'm tough shit because you know you got Derek Lewis here and he runs everything.
Although if anyone tried to break into your car as well, I'm pretty sure you would do the same exact thing that Derek
Oh
Lewis
yeah. Oh yeah, no, I just let him know, it's like, dude, I know Derek.
That's all you got to do. That's all
Yeah,
you got
yeah.
to do. Adrian, you're honestly, you're right up there. Already people talking about fight of the night. This could possibly be a fight of the year, but more than anything, it's so refreshing. And I say this just as person to person. It's so refreshing to see kind of this back and forth. I can't even call it a rivalry, but it's so refreshing to see it, how fun it is, how it's built around junk food, honestly. And you would never think that between two fighters. It's absolutely amazing. They say Dr. Pepper has 23 flavors. You got 23 ways to beat people up. So I can't wait, you know, to see what you and Randy do inside the octagon. And I'm a fan of both, man. I truly am a fan of both, and I can't wait to see it. And again, I'm going to say what I said last time. Hopefully we can talk after your fight, man. I wish you all the best. Thank you for all your time.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you for having me on, man. It's been a blessing.
Absolutely. Thanks, Adrian.